Good afternoon. Good afternoon, all. Well, we're all here for one purpose. I shall wait for people to come. I think we all know why we're here. The simple reason being, well, yeah, there's lost. Another reason, well, they lost, and well, they lost. And pardon me, I do have a bit of a tickling cough, so bear with me. So, how did we get here? I'm using two computers, so just bear with me if you would. And if you're having trouble with this, go to YouTube and it's under the Risorto report. I'm live there as well. So all the YouTube followers, how's it going? Facebookers, well, you know. But where do we start? I'm not going to go into the whole season today. I might, but this cough is really getting to me and it's annoying because I've had it for a while now. And I'm fine, but this postseason, I'm not surprised it sucked. I'm really not. Why? Because the Islanders literally limped in to the playoffs. Had it not been for Pittsburgh basically going to sleep a couple of games early, Islanders wouldn't be in the playoffs. They wouldn't have been where they were. So it was. Ooh. You want to talk about ugly? It was ugly. The fact that this team. Oh boy, where do I begin? Scoring. I'm not even convinced. Honestly, you want to call Jari the Isles MVP? What did the Islanders do in the playoffs that made them deserve the spot? They didn't. They looked sorry. They looked like a sorry bunch of players out there that were undisciplined. They couldn't score and they couldn't defend well. Oh well, the Islanders made the playoffs. Well, they didn't really do much. They lost two games they should have won in Raleigh. They fell asleep game four at home. They somehow managed to make it a game in game five. And game six, well, we know what happened. Lack of scoring, and you give Carolina the momentum, and well, that's all she wrote. It's at the point where if you're the Islanders, I don't think this is going to happen, but it has to come to a point where it's if the Islanders are really serious about contending, you got to let people go. Sorry, you have to. And this isn't going to be a long show, but it's really hard to comprehend. And I slept on it, so I can have a clear head. There are only a few guys who tried each game: Palmieri, Parisi, and Brock Nelson. Okay, well, what about the other nine guys? And then you have to worry about the defensive guys too, who literally just fell asleep at the helm. It was, in a word, pathetic. I don't know what you could say that makes it all hunky dory, happy, and better. You can't. There is nothing. There is nothing to say that makes it better. Just that they horrifically failed. Every time I want to do a show, I always get this cough. I don't know why. questionable in case he skated their asses off. Yes, they did. Bo Horvat took a game off. Everyone's favorite player, Matt Barzal, took the entire playoffs off except for game 3, but I don't want to hear that he's injured. It's okay, it's the playoffs. You play, you produce, you play your ass off. Unless you can't play or sitting in the press box, you're out there, you're skating. You're not going to get an excuse. Unless you tell me you're hocked up on painkillers and you have a torn ACL. Against Carolina, everyone wanted Carolina. Got them. And then some people were saying, oh, I want to play the Devils. I want to play the Rangers. Well, no. You worry about the task at hand. And the task at hand was the Carolina Hurricanes, who were more than prepared for you. I heard on shows that that Sorokin will be able to bail them out. No, he won't. Sorokin won't be able to bail you out. The only thing Sorokin can do is so much. You need your team up front to do it for him. At least most of it. No matter what you want, you play with the cards you're dealt in terms of the team you're playing. In this case, it was Carolina. You weren't beating Boston. Let's make that clear. Why is Florida doing so well? Why did they force a game 7? They score. They're a little younger. My God, it's almost as if going younger, having a little more skill, actually helps. Oh, and converting on power plays too, which the Isles were 1 for playoffs for. So there's that. And part of me, I'm gonna drink some water. Dobson was bad. Pellick was awful. Mayfield was awful. Anyone not named Pulak was awful. Martin and Clutterbuck were completely undisciplined. Barzal and Horvat were gone, and I don't want to just hear the Horvat is terrible argument. All right, when it comes to Horvat, he was needed. It's a systems thing, is what it is. Vancouver had a more offensive-friendly system. The Islanders have more defensive-oriented, so you're not going to see many guys shoot. Well, we didn't see much of that. The power play is awful. There's only so much they can do. The only way that Lou goes, the only way that I see it, is if the decision to fire Lambert happens, where Lambert gets fired, Lou goes. Because most GMs nowadays, you don't get 3 chances with the head coach. Unless something terrible happens to that coach, which is rare, Lou's not going anywhere. His son would take over in a heartbeat. The Lamoriello name runs strong within the Islanders. If you're really serious about change and wanting this team to be a winner, you want to keep Lambert as coach? I'm fine with it. But if you're telling me that same coaching staff is returning, it ain't. You want to tell me that Lambert is staying and that they're getting a new coaching staff with him? I'd be open to it. And if you tell me Lou's GM with that, again, fine with it. Because Lou is not going anywhere. And the only way I see him going is if Lane Lambert gets fired. And if you notice, I saw this a while back. Maybe it was last night or this morning. Someone commented that without Zdeno Chara there, that Dobson reverted. Need new coaches. You're not going to get new coaches unless Lambert's fired. Again, you want to tell me Lambert is staying and he's getting a new coaching staff, I might be up for it. The 3 lowest scoring teams to qualify the playoffs. The Islanders, who were lucky, Minnesota, and Winnipeg are the first three teams to be knocked out of the playoffs. You can't win if you can't score. I agree. I agree. And as much as nobody wants Chris Lamoriello to take over, he's going to take over at some point. This team is groomed to have what's it called? This team is groomed to have Chris Lamoriello take over at some point. Now, Brent Thompson needs to go. 100%. I don't know what kind of naked pictures he has of Lou or whoever, or what he's blackmailing them, but it's not looking good. Again, if you're having trouble listening to this show on Facebook, go to YouTube. I'm live there as well. It's a sad It's a sad reality. Then Brent Thompson gets moved up. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised. He's Chris's drinking buddy, or he's got some naked pictures of Lou that he doesn't want leaked. I don't know how Thompson has the job either. The last top six forward that he developed, I want to say maybe Anders Lee. No, it wasn't Anthony Beauvillier. A cup of coffee down south in Bridgeport doesn't count. We're going to run the same team. I hope not. You can't win with this team. Tell me if you agree with this. Guys who have to go, and I'm talking about gone, and we're talking in terms of players. Matt Martin, Cal Clutterbuck, Scott Mayfield, Sebastian Aho, who, by the way, we drafted the wrong one. And wait for it, I've got one more for you, Josh Bailey. Do you agree? I'd be willing to be more inclined to see what I could get for John Gabriel Pajot. And at this point, and hear me out on this, Horvat's your first line center, Brock Nelson is your second line, Matt Barzell's your third line center. I'd be inclined to that. How say you? Unfortunately, I don't think Lee is going anywhere. He's the captain. They're not getting rid of him. He's here for another, what is it, 5 more years or something like that. Pajot's here for another maybe 3. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't see any situation in where lots of no trade clauses and no movement clauses on this team. Very hard to move those guys. So tell me, if that's the case, is Josh Bailey eligible to be bought out? Matt Martin, Cal Clutterbuck, Scott Mayfield, and Sebastian Aho, can they go? No one's going to take those 3. I'll be open to shopping John Gabriel Pajot. It would suck. Lee can't be moved. There's no movement clause. Again, not surprising. You don't have Lee for much longer. Well, he signed a 7-year deal. Team needs to be overhauled. Now, here's a couple of players I wouldn't mind bringing back. Zach Parise, Zach Parise, Pierre Engvall, and Semyon Varlamov on on team-friendly deals. I think you need Pierre Engvall. He's got speed. He's got some skill. He can help out. Zach Parise, barring retirements, I wouldn't mind bringing him back at all because he's the only one, let's be honest, all season busted his ass, and we never had much complaints about him. And then you have Varley. I don't think there are any other goaltenders out there who would be happy to be a backup goaltender, but who could also start a few games for you. God forbid something happens to your starter. I think Varley's perfect for that. I don't know anymore. I should eat some of Lee's contract and picks for trade. They're not going to trade him. He's got a no movement clause. Scott Mayfield is an unrestricted free agent. Bailey can be bought out. Let's give a picks for someone to take Lee's contract, which again, I'm not I'm not. You're not moving Lee. Basically the same point at this point. Only reason players had no movement clauses were so they couldn't be left unprotected in the Seattle expansion draft. Exactly. And I think they're missing Jordan Eberle. Why get rid of Why get rid of Jordan Eberle when you have the great Josh Bailey? We're done. That's what it is at this point. There's no saying anything towards it. He has a no trade clause expiring in 24-25 and is in. Oh, okay. So if that's the case, then he'd be golden. But again, he's stuck here. You're not moving. Both are left unprotected. You could have protected Everly. I would have. You tell me you're giving up Matt Martin, Cal Clutterbuck, or Josh Bailey. Hell, I'm down. Protect Everly for all I care. We'll see what happens at this point because the way things are trending, not good. I see people saying that they're not into consolation prizes. 40 years of no cups is a disgrace. There shouldn't be, yay, we made the playoffs, cup or bust. But you're celebrating saying Jari should be hung from the rafters. Jari's jersey should be hung from the rafters. Tristan Jari of the Penguins. It's kind of going both ways there, isn't it? You know who you are. Well, we ain't rebuilding either, not after a brand new arena. Trade Barzell, have a no trade clause till 2025. At this point, the man's a turnover machine and he's not a good center. I am not saying to trade him, but pointing that out there. I'd say put him as your third line center if you could trade away John Gabriel Pajot. Now you definitely need top six goal scoring. We better not. Better not have anything to do with any more fourth liners playing third, second, or first line minutes. What? Somebody tell me what the record was for the Islanders when Barzell was not playing with the team this season. Not any other season, just this season. What was it, like 14 to 8 or something like that? 14, 8, and 2 or whatever that was. 14, 7. Whew. That's good. It's called facetious, and damn right, 40 years of no cup is crap. I'm proud to say it's you. Nothing to hide. Well, still, again, when you run your mouth, it's going to bite you. Playoffs are something to cheer for, depending on the progress. But at the same time, if you say one thing like that, and then you go and say Jari's jersey has to be in the rafters, can't have it both ways. You made the playoffs. Now play it. The only hope is that either Wallstrom, Maggio, Ishikov, or Dalford develop into something. If this was any other head coach in the AHL, I'd be looking forward to it. This is Brendan Thompson, who hasn't developed a top six forward since Anders Lee around 2013 or so. Really have something to look forward to with that, especially when Wallstrom, before he got hurt, looked awful defensively. You tell me. Mind you, the Islanders went one for playoffs on the power play. One for playoffs and allowed a shorthanded goal, a meaningful one. Not a meaningless one like the Carolina Hurricanes did to Bo Horvat, but we also have no cap space, no draft picks, and the 30th pool. Besides that, everything is great. How about AHL head coach instead of relying on the same idiot down there? It's mind-boggling how long he's been staying here. It almost reminds me of when people said the Islanders are a yacht club, how everyone's job is safe. Well, that's the Bridgeport team. Chris Lamoriello ain't going anywhere, and apparently neither is Brent Thompson. Somehow he still has a job after failing. The defenseman, he's fine with. When it comes to forwards, sucks. Change my mind on that. No one can. Somebody tell me what was the um, playoff record for him? How many seasons it was before he made the playoffs a couple of years ago? What was it? 15 straight years that Bridgeport didn't make the playoffs? Something like that, correct? Going to be the same team next year, minus Mayfield and Bolduc. Bolduc going to take his place. I wouldn't be surprised. I also wouldn't be surprised if Josh Bailey is back. Martin Cizikas and Clutterbuck are back. I'm sorry, Martin and Clutterbuck are back. It's not good. They missed again. This year is just once in like 15. But I think they made the playoffs a couple of years ago, whether it was last year or the year before. Brent Thompson is like a Supreme Court justice, a job for life. Yeah, that's pretty much what it's like. Oh God, it's embarrassing. Lou not doing anything 123 years. Yeah. I don't know what you can do. It's depressing. When it comes to Bridgeport, I'm not too thrilled on making the playoffs for them. I want guys to be developed. So far, he's a big question. Thompson is a big question mark on developing goaltenders. He's good with defensemen. Don't get me wrong; he's very good. But when it comes to forwards, he's not good. Who do we have last? Michael Dalcole, Josh Hosang, Otto Koivula. Oh God, that experiment. Hudson Fashing is looking good, but he's bounced around from team to team. Well, listen, Lou will give his I believe in this team BS and ego. He has to say that. As much as I disagree with him, he has to say it. It's a PR response. He's not going to publicly bash the team. No playoffs for like 5 years plus. Get ready, guys. Yeah, we're ready. They were lucky to make the playoffs this year, the New York Islanders, especially with that 4-win January. There's no excuse for the way this team played, especially in the playoffs. Well, I'm going to head out soon. Anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns about anything? Let me know. Sorokin got us in. Sorokin got us out. Questions, comments, anything, concerns? Is it I'm going to log off? Got to work tonight, so that's why I'm doing the show today at this time rather than another time like tomorrow because I'm got some other things going tomorrow and I won't have time for. Questions, comments, concerns, anything? It's stunk to lose because of the goal that was not supposed to be, but not surprised. Well, when you fall asleep in the third period and you let Carolina come back and you're unable to clear the zone, it'll happen. especially in the playoffs when you committed dumbass turnover. This is supposed to be a win now team, and they haven't shown anything under Lambert that says win now. It also doesn't scream anything last year, as well as actually no, that's it, because the Trots teams, the two that went to the ECFs back to back, those were win now because you actually had guys, you had a system that let that sink in. You can't, and I mean can't, go on with this goal differential nonsense. You just can't. You need goal scoring to complement the goal differential. Everyone knows that. Any other questions, comments, concerns, or anything? Anything at all? All right. Well, until something happens again, whether it's a move or whatnot, whether it's a move, a trade, a hiring, or a firing, that's when you'll hear from me in a live video next. YouTube, Facebook, it's been real. I shall catch you all later. Let's go Islanders, I guess.